Hey guys, welcome to a commentary, dual commentary. I've got Psionic alongside, and this is going to be the fourth match between EG and, I almost blanked there, and X. So X, former Team Light, EG, most of former Team Media. Bottom left-hand corner we have EG Nyoken, upper right-hand corner we have Gretorp, and both really top-level players. Nyoken's actually kind of scary when I've seen him play. He's really, really good. Gretorp is no pushover himself. Thus far the series is 2-1 in EG's favor. Machine ended up losing the first set. After that, LZ Gamer took his, and past that, G5 ended up beating Tier or Tear. Do you know how it's? Is it Tier or is it Tear? Do you know, Psionic? I always screw that up, and he always corrects me, and I never remember, and I always screw it up again.
He's never really said anything, but we just call him Tier. And he's so
there you go.
That.
Anyway, this is going to be on Colosseum II. Big macro map. I'll just kind of go over it really fast, just in case. Secondary, got your gas, and you have a third up at the ramp. Very easy to defend. Naturally, you're not going to see that creep until they actually go across that, and then over the mineral, or right near the main, you've got a third gas. And that's it. That's at the four corners of the map. You have those expansions. And it's really because you have so many minerals near your base, it's just an absolute macro exercise, which I think I've said in three separate commentaries now, so the true Diggity fans will be like, oh, he's getting boring. But it looks like both players not sealing their front door. They're both just kind of going for standard builds thus far. They actually might be both going for a 14 command center, because this tends to be what you see off 14 command center. I'm not sure why Terran do this with 14 CCs, but they put that supply depot right alongside their command centers, and then it doesn't look like we're seeing it actually on this side. Nope, never mind. Both players, as soon as I say that, both players putting the barracks up on their front door.
Well, the reason why they put the depots right next to the CCs, I mean, I don't know why Nyoken put his a little bit further down, but the reason why Gretorp put his right there at the top right is so his SCV pops out a little bit closer to the minerals. And not to mention, when you build your depot right there, it's so your timing is spot on. And TV, just like most mirror matchups, you always want to have your timing spot on, because even if you lag behind just by a few seconds, it could potentially be a big deal later on, because like in PvP, if you're 5 gas behind the other Protoss, he's building his Dragoon that's like, you know, that much faster than you are, and if he doesn't attack and you're like 1 Dragoon short because it's still building because of the lag, it's the same thing in TvT. So Gretorp put his depot there only to help with his timing and to push his SCV closer to the minerals. Same thing with Nyoken, just make sure his timing is spot on. And then usually if they're going to have any problems with like a huge harass, like a cheese or volt harass, you can get another depot up there in time to help wall that off, that choke. For Nyoken it's a little bit easier than for Gretorp to wall off, but you can easily get SCVs and throw stuff in the way, buildings in the way if it becomes a problem. But for this matchup, and because they scouted each other cross position, they don't really have to worry about walling off just yet.
Looks like an early win for a second there. I forgot which player is which. Early win for Gretorp. He's going to be able to kill the SCV that was inside of his base and get his SCV out. Both players opening up with a single factory. And yeah, pretty solid play thus far. Both players, players hilariously, actually, two factory push here from, I don't like this decision on this map. I feel like it's too large to really pull this off, and that gap is fairly defensible, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, I was very surprised that both players scouting cross positions. Now that command center going down, which I think is a fairly effective build. Unfortunately, no machine shop going down. A single vulture being produced off the bat here from Gretorp, and I think he needed to put down that machine shop, get some tanks to be in a better defensive position. I'm not quite sure the logic behind this fast vulture. Maybe he was hoping to go and kill a couple Marines and sneak out, get a scout early in the game. Unfortunately, he's going up against 2 factories, and he really needs those tanks to defend against this.
Yeah, I don't know why Gretorp pulled his SCV out so soon, because he could have at least kept it there for another 5 or 10 seconds, and he might have either delayed Nyoken's second factory or seen it. And the reason why he produces the vulture, and the reason why he's still producing the vultures, is he's still not quite sure, because he pulled his SCV all the way back to his base instead of leaving it up on high ground and to scout around, is because he's not sure if Nyoken was going to come attack him with like 3 Marines and a vulture, so he's wanting to make sure he has a vulture out in order to defend against potential vulture from Nyoken. And I'm going to have to agree with you also that going for the quick 2-fac on this map, especially cross position, is going to be a little bit hard for Nyoken to pull off. And I know he's got really good TvT, and one of his most favorite sayings in TvT is build a lot of vultures. But I never really see pro gamers go a lot of vultures, so I'm not really quite sure why he says that, but he swears by building a ton of vultures. And we can see him doing that. He's just massing up tons and tons of vultures, getting speed. It looks like he might just try to go and just kill as many SCVs as he can while simultaneously expanding. I'll be completely honest, TVT is the least seen matchup I've seen of Nyoken.
Huh, this is actually really hilarious because I really like this play, actually. He's going to go for speed vultures, just try to flood as many in as possible. Front door not completely sealed off, so vultures are going to be able to sneak through. One vulture down, one tank to defend. Looks like that gap somewhat defended, but the 4 vultures do sneak in. Whenever you have any more than a single vulture in, they can just wreak so much damage. It looks like they are going to get a lot of kills early on Gretorp. Already 3-4 kills, killing the SCVs in transition, and still wreaking more damage. Desperately, 2 engineering bays on the front. They're actually not creating any degree of a blockade, and they're still destroying everything. 1 tank popping out, trying to, actually, sorry, 2 tanks out, but the damage is already done. Each vulture has, that's 11 kills between those 2 vultures. And that is all you need, TVT, to really get a huge advantage. Get all sorts of SCV kills. And yeah, this is just fantastic. I got to say, I like that build by Nyoken. It's really something you don't expect on a map like Colosseum, and it was really, really effective just because it was so atypical.
Yep, so now we know why Nyoken says he swears by vultures. So now he's also got mines, probably just going to mine outside of Gretorp's base. Or he might try to get some speed tank kills. I don't know how effective that's going to be. Those tanks are going to be able to pick up.
Oh, look out!
Looks
like those mines are just going to sit there for now.
Yeah. He's probably going to contain Gretorp and then probably take an expo. You can see him take it as natural. He'll probably mine up, and then he might go for a third. To try to, I mean, he's already done a lot of damage to Gretorp's econ, but he might try to go for a third just to try to stay ahead. Or he could just go for his nat, get a lot of SCVs going, and then just try to push off 2 bases. We'll see what he goes with that.
Still being aggressive and bleeding a couple vultures here. I think he might be a little bit better off just planting all sorts. Okay, now he's starting to do that. Just plant a bunch of mines on that front door. Know that you have your opponent contained, and go from there. Gretorp, yeah, just trying to pump SCVs and tanks at this stage. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for a bunch of tanks and then rolls out here in a second and tries to just completely run him over with just a pure tank combination, knowing how many vultures he's committed early. He does have the dual machine shop down. He also has that barrack still floating up above. The nice thing from Gretorp's position is if he does manage to turn around and enact some damage in the mid-game, he can produce SCVs a little bit fast right now. I still think that he's going to end up economically behind as a result, because look at this, 39 supply, most of that in tanks, and comparatively we've got 48 supply, most of that in SCVs. But nevertheless, yeah, he's got to do something. He's got to get aggressive to kind of switch into the mid-game. Otherwise, he's just going to end up falling so far behind economically. Nyoken has the option to take his third base. Nyoken has map control, and it's really, yeah, it's up to him to get something done at this stage. It looks like he's produced a couple Goliaths just to, he's going to at least be able to kick that barracks out. And now we'll see what he's up to. Still pumping SCVs. Looks like he's already got Siege Tech kind of wandering up, but a Siege Tank already in position for Nyoken on the front door, and it looks like he's going to go for an extremely long distance contain, which is extremely aggressive, and if he succeeds with this, that will be GG. Because he'll be able to isolate with just fewer troops, because that choke works in reverse at the same time. It's easy to defend going on the interior, but it's easy to defend going on the exterior because it's just a little funnel as well. And if he managed to get some turrets up on this front door, looks like it's spotted. Tanks moving up to that position. Looks like a bunch of them going to siege. So it looks like Nyoken going to end up losing 2 tanks without doing a lot. Maybe he'll get that. Oh, almost sacrificing a vulture to save that tank. Still trying to set up a little bit to contain otherwise, but honestly, a little bit dangerous doing this, especially against this large number of tank forces here. I think he's just going to end up bleeding unnecessary forces.
Yeah, I totally agree. He should just pull his remaining forces back that he has come up the middle. And nope, he's still putting up that missile turret. He might just go around through the third and just try to set up on the high ground, try to deny Gretorp his third and just slow push him that way. But he's got to be careful that Gretorp just doesn't sneak out and go and put pressure on his main, because he's rallying all of his forces to Gretorp's third base area. He's got to be careful of any kind of pressure on his natural. Now Gretorp moving out, almost losing the siege tanks to spider mines, but able to push out now and remove Nyoken from the high ground. And now Gretorp still constantly pumping SCVs, and that's always essential. You always got to be pumping SCVs, so you have a really strong econ. Nyoken now taking his third, realizing, okay, well, time to play kind of a little bit of a defensive game, make sure I stay one base ahead, because remember, he did a lot of damage early game. Economically, he's got to make sure he stays ahead somewhat, and I think right now he should just play a little bit defensive and just make sure drops don't affect him too much, and make sure that any kind of counter from Gretorp won't hurt him.
Yeah, I was actually worried that Gretorp I can't speak all of a sudden. Gretorp, for a second, was going to actually push out with a large amount of tanks. There's only 3 tanks in a very wide defensive position, as you can see. He's just hanging them out in the middle. If Gretorp decided to go like a southern route or even a northern route, end around, he just has an overwhelming amount of tanks at the moment. But instead, it looks like he's putting down 2 starports at the back of his base. I think this is to produce a couple Wraith, and it looks like he is going to transition into tank Wraith. There's that first Wraith being produced. Hypothetically, you could put down 2 additional control towers and just go a bunch of dropships really quickly, but no, I think he's just going to stick to the Wraith tank combination. I'm not sure if I like this map for the Wraith tank. I feel like it's best executed when there's lots of map artifacts to kind of move those Wraiths behind. It keeps them protected against the Goliaths. When it's an open field and open ground, it's just difficult to protect them from the ground. But we'll see how it works out for him. Starting to move out, pushing out a little bit piece by piece here. More Wraiths being produced, yeah, and it looks like it is in fact going to be a Wraith tank combination. And he's got to go up and do some damage. Maybe he can just end around those Wraiths and start harassing that secondary. And right now, Gretorp being a little bit careless, losing a couple tanks in the middle. So Nyoken able to enact a couple kills and pull back. A dropship up. Wow, 3 dropships up now for Nyoken. So those Wraiths actually will end up being beneficial for him if he can get them out in the field. 3 dropships moving around. Let's see if they go for that natural secondary.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do, and really, Gretorp only has 2 Wraiths, and he has no idea that Nyoken has those dropships. He's probably comp-sighted the starport, but he doesn't know what those dropships are, but now he knows. They're in the natural. Gretorp forced to pull the SCVs back. Nyoken moving in, got to do as much damage to those SCVs as possible, or at least try to take out that command center. That would really hurt Gretorp's economy. I really think Gretorp should not have gone for the dual starport. Like you said, there's really not that much high ground that you can use Wraiths to snipe SCVs or harass with, like at naturals or to get around. The map is just too open. I think he should have just gone for his third a little bit faster and just tried to catch up economically while still macroing an army. What he did in the middle, trying to push out there, trying to get rid of those 3 siege tanks, he lost about 5 siege tanks trying to do that. Wasn't really worth it. And now he's just kind of letting his natural go here. Not too much to do about. He doesn't have dropships in his zone to drop on Nyoken's siege tanks, so he just forced to lose mining time. And now Gretorp is falling so far behind that unless he gets really lucky in some kind of like all-in counterattack and is able to kill Nyoken's forces, because Nyoken really doesn't have that much of an army. If you look, he's got a lot of factories now, and Nyoken has a very small window to do a counterattack, to do damage to Nyoken, but I don't think he's going to go for that. I think he's just going to try to recoup his losses and then just try to come back from that. And he's already lost, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if he really needs to just pick up his tanks and go right now, I think that is his best option. He is now moving in. Now let's see if Nyoken's in position to counterattack. He's been so aggressive with his troops on the ground. Most of his army is now at the natural secondary. I don't know that those dropships will really be able to swing around or spot this in time. A couple mines in the middle for him, and let's see if he's going to be able to get those dropships up. Most of his attack force back again at that natural secondary. The dropship's out of position, just a skeleton crew on that front door. I'm pretty sure Gretorp, if he micros it properly, just throws that Goliath out in front and sieges the rest of the tanks in behind. He'll be able to just cream the secondary. At the very least, it looks like he's going to go for that third expansion. Oh, it looks like he's sieging just short. He didn't send anything in, so Nyoken is going to have time to just kind of delay this out. That'll allow him to produce more tanks off a superior economy. And Gretorp, yeah, he just needed to barrel in, not hop short like this. Nyoken is going to defend this as a result. And let's see if he picks up these troops to the natural secondary and continues barreling down. There's only 2 factories in the back versus 6 in the back of his base. The production advantage is huge. And Gretorp, yeah, I think he's quite a bit out of this game now. Economically behind, production-wise behind, and I think the one window of opportunity he had is now being squandered.
Yeah, I really feel Gretorp should have gone for a little bit of faster third, not gone for a second starport. I can understand one starport to go for dropship to help, break out of whatever contained Nyoken might have been setting up, because he wasn't so quite sure what was going on. But he really should have gone for a faster third, try to catch up economically, mass up a little bit more, and then pushed out. But what he did in the middle, again, he lost a lot of tanks when he shouldn't have. He could have easily gone around them or not even dealt with them just yet. And then also losing a bunch of mining time at the natural, and now he lost his window of opportunity in the middle, like you said. when he took way too long to decide to pressure Nyoken, and now Nyoken's econ is just kicking in. He's got 6 factories, 3 of them with machine shops. There's no way that Gretorp is going to win game 1 here, so we should be expecting GG.
I really liked that creativity early of that speed vulture, just so unexpected.
Yeah, that was
in
really
the backfield.
nice.
Looks like weapons. That was actually really clever. Let's see if that's, now that these have gone up on YouTube, we start seeing that pop up here and there. But that was a really creative build. I really like seeing stuff like that, especially on maps like this. That's what makes StarCraft fun. Finally, Gretorp trying to push out that natural secondary. It's just, it's way too late. Looks like Nyoken's already starting to barrel out with a lot of Goliaths, a couple siege tanks. There's actually a Marine and a couple dropships harassing that second expansion as well, and already an expansion in that bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, it's 4 bases versus 2 effectively, and I don't think that second base for Gretorp is going to last very long.
Yeah. Now, I have a question. Have you seen any kind of vulture harass like what Nyoken did, like by any kind of pro gamer? Because I can't recall for the life of me. I'm sure there is a pro gamer who might have done it, maybe back in 2004, 2005.
I've seen a lot of vulture on vulture games.
Recently?
Kanata does that a lot. Not
I'll
recently, though.
honest.
No one's
I'll
really
be
done.
honest. I try to avoid TVT like the plague, so I really haven't been up to date on my TVT knowledge. But I haven't, in my recent knowledge, I haven't recalled seeing that a lot.
Vulture on vulture, I think, is one of the more entertaining TVT matches to watch, though, just because it's just hilarious. Huge amounts of troops just flying over mines at each other. Anyway, Gretorp desperately trying to do something to stop the rest of the attack force. This is the thing, is this death is going to be really brutal and really slow, just because the reinforcements take such a long period of time to get up there, and it looks like Nyoken, instead of just barreling the rest of his troops in, he's going to set the rest of his containment in. Gretorp trying to distance mine with siege tanks already sitting there, bleeding SCVs now at his natural secondary as well, and he's already lost his third. I think, yeah, it was actually destroyed rather than kind of just pulled back. Now Gretorp trying to throw whatever troops he has. That's actually a nice anticipation on Nyoken's part. He's like, okay, I think he's going to just throw in whatever he has left towards that middle section. Let me just put down a couple troops, and that'll just stop that cold. I'm surprised Gretorp didn't GG a while ago. He's going now 5 bases versus 1. Looks like he just lost a weapons upgrade there. Oh, killing a couple tanks right there. Yeah. Like, move in there, go. At least, but he does have the weapons 2 advantage now. He's got level 2 weapons over weapon 1 advantage. He has the production advantage. He's got all sorts of factories down.
He's got 5 bases.
Yeah, he's got 5 bases. He's just rocking, and he's got everything working for him. Where Gretorp has a single base, 4 factories, and nothing really to contend. And his troops are not as, more than double the supply. He's just in a really bad situation. I was expecting GG a while ago. Looks like just kind of a vulture patrolling that upper left-hand corner in the meantime. But looks like it's going to be a 5 SCV, 5 siege tank finale here for Gretorp.
Any second now, right? No?
Any second. It's going to unsiege and just barrel in with those troops. It'll be awesome.
Come on.
Or maybe not.
What's the opposite of an Alamo? Because an Alamo is a last stand. What do you do when you just charge in and you die? Bonsai?
I should ask my roommate this, actually. Hey, roommate, what's the opposite of a Alamo? Like a last-ditch charge-in?
A bonsai.
Bighorn, little Bighorn.
Little Bighorn! Yeah, good old Custard. Still left, right? Custard.
Good having a history nerd as a roommate. Works out well in commentating situations.
Was it Custard? Little Bighorn? I can't remember my history.
That was Custard, yeah. I always say Custard.
Yeah. Custard.
Yes, that was Custard. Custard.
Oh,
anyway, Gretorp maybe just trying to wear him out to go into game 2. Gonna do that next. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for listening.